Fish on, baby. Fish on. The first time I saw a fishing lure, it was tied on to George's rod that he brought out to the lake. I thought to myself, there's no way that thing can actually catch fish. I watched the lure cast out, and as it was reeled in, I saw it wiggling about in the water. I was intrigued. When I started fishing by myself, I threw mainly lures, but struggled to actually catch anything with them. Still, they fascinated me. All the different types, ones designed to dive, ones that stayed on the surface and splashed or paddled, rubbery ones that looked like a small fish, frog, or some kind of exciting invertebrate. The idea that you could do without the messy bait, keep a tackle box full of these gizmos, and somehow catch fish. The idea of catching fish on lures was elegant. Lures typically mimic fleeing prey and therefore are only attractive to the kinds of fish that eat these creatures. The fish you see splashing about could very well prefer their veggies, and lures that mimic plants are about as exciting as they sound. Of course, these predatory fish weren't present within casting range at my usual spots, so I needed to find a way to get to these predatory fish. Rather than dive right into boat ownership, adding yet another registration payment to the list, I figured a kayak would be a good place to start.
That's the kayak right there.
I hopped online and found one easily enough. Turns out rich Chinese dudes with personal translators will sell you their kids' unused kayaks for pretty cheap. Some guy on YouTube showed me that you don't need a roof rack to transport a kayak. A couple of pool noodles and you're sorted.
Oh, hopefully we don't kill ourselves doing this. I don't know what I'm doing really, but yeah, let's get her unloaded. And
the first place I launched the kayak from was at the river. There I got familiar with it and how it felt. It had been years since I'd been on one. Each style is different, and some are more stable than others. This one's okay. I wouldn't stand on it, but it's okay.
Alright.
I attempted to paddle upstream through a small section of rapids and quickly found that current can be deceptive. I eventually conceded and found a pathway to drag the kayak across the rapids, and then continued upstream. The river opened up wide, and suddenly my options for places to cast multiplied exponentially.
Absolutely gorgeous out here. No better way to spend an afternoon, huh? Trying out a new kayak, exploring a section of the river I've never seen before. It's unreal, man. Gorgeous. So quiet, so peaceful.
I didn't actually end up catching any fish on that expedition. Perhaps the lure I was using wasn't the right one. Maybe I was retrieving too quickly or casting in the wrong places. I did, however, acquaint myself with a new toy that opened up greater possibilities and areas for exploration. At the local bait and tackle shop, I mentioned my frustration at not having caught anything on a lure. They told me about a lake where I was sure to get a bass or two. I had my reservations about fishing in stocked impoundments. Australian bass require access to estuarine waters to spawn, and therefore don't breed in these lakes. Bass and other local species are put into these lakes by stocking associations. There seems to be a purity in connecting with a wild fish that has to migrate up and down waterways to further its lineage, unsullied by the meddling of man and in their natural habitat. At this point, I just wanted to catch something, so off to the lake I went.
Come up, over here.
I paddled out with Winnie for company and moral support, and we explored the lake. I tied on a squarebill crankbait and cast it towards some structure. Not getting much action, I decided to move to another cove. As I paddled across with my crankbait trolling behind, I caught the rod tip bend in my periphery and heard the drag peel.
Fish on.
I picked up the rod and felt the life force of some creature on the other end.
What did we get? Fish on, baby.
As I reeled in, the movement stopped. It felt as if there was a dead weight on the other end of my line.
I honestly can't tell if this is a snag or a fish. Feels like it's coming. What'd I get? Hey! It's something.
I reeled in some more and up came a clump of weed, but in that weed was a flash of bronze. My first Australian bass. Vindication.
Relax, big boy. Sheesh.
Lures can actually catch fish. How about that?
Australian bass. Look at that. What do you think, Winnie? Hey. See you, buddy.
I caught another in the same manner and in roughly the same area.
Whoa. Fish on, baby. Fish on.
But somehow when I would try and cast the lure out and retrieve it, I couldn't catch anything.
Another bass.
The day went on and only those 2 little bass were caught.
Hey, buddy. Awesome. What do you think, Franny?
Catching fish trolling isn't quite the same though, is it? I still found myself yearning for that freshwater bite.
See ya.
Back home, I did some more research and watched some videos to see how people were catching fish, what lures they were using, and the areas they were casting into, even looking at the speed of the retrieve. Spinnerbait seemed like a popular choice, so I grabbed a few from my local tackle shop and found myself back at the lake. I cast out towards the bank and let the lure drop before starting the slow retrieve. As I wound in like I had countless times before, I felt a tap. In that split second, I wondered whether I had just bumped into something solid at the bottom, and then whack.
Fish on, baby. Fish on. Woo. Oh, man,
With a rod tip
I love
pointed in the
that.
sky, I set the hook and instantaneously connected with the being on the other end.
I'm going there.
As I reeled the fish closer, it fought harder, pulling against the drag with all its might. In that moment, fighting for its place on this earth.
Woo. Okay. Ooh. Fuck these fight. That is too much fun. Okay. Chill, buddy, chill.
Once I had reeled the fish in, I took the hook out of its mouth and examined the
size?
creature.
Fuck, it's awesome. There we go.
After thanking it for sharing the experience with me, I set it back in the water, allowing it to regain its strength until it was ready to swim
You ready?
off.
There we go.
In the quest to prove to myself that lures can catch fish, I found another way to experience the beautiful environment we share. Searching the seemingly unending waters for these noble creatures offers the opportunity to bask in the beauty of the natural world. And maybe, just maybe, connect with another one of its inhabitants.